Hello there and welcome back to another episode in our STM32 firmware development series. In the previous episode, we learned how to configure GPIOs as output and also as input, by which we were able to determine when a button has been pressed, and in response to that we turned on the LED as you can see in the code here. There are two more things I want to teach you about basic usage of the GPIO module. And the first one is how to toggle a GPIO pin. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the configuration for the button because we aren't going to use that anymore. And what that means is that after line 14, I'm going to get rid of how we configured the button as an input, and I'm also gonna get rid of everything in here. So what this means is that we still have GPIO pin 9 on port E, which is the LED, configured as an output, so we should be able to turn it on and off. Now, toggling basically means that you are setting the status of the GPIO to the opposite of what it actually is at the moment. So if it's on, toggling it is going to set it off, and if it's off, toggling it is going to set it on. So we can achieve the same blink program that we did in the first demonstration, but this time around we're going to use toggle, right? So I do HAL GPIO toggle pin, and then you specify the port. So I'm toggling the pin on port E, and the pin is going to be GPIO pin 9. Okay, so it's just going to look at the current status of it. If it's on, it's going to make it off. If it's off, it's going to turn it on. And then I'm going to do HAL delay here, and I'm going to delay for, let's say, 500 milliseconds. So I'm going to compile this code, and then I'm going to flash it onto the microcontroller unit. Alright, so clearly it has been flashed onto the board, and I'm going to switch to the workbench where you can see. So now you can see that the LED is blinking, even though we didn't explicitly turn it on and off like we did in the previous video. So I'm going to switch back to the code base so you can see how to use the toggle. One other thing that I want to talk to you about is the fact that you can de-initialize your GPIOs. And when it becomes appropriate to do that is, let's say, for instance, you put your your microcontroller unit into sleep mode, and you don't want any of the unused GPIO pins to consume power needlessly, then you have to de-initialize it. Okay, and the function for doing that is, I'm not going to let us run it. I'm just writing the code so you see. So HAL GPIO deinit, and then again you give the port, and also the pin. So GPIO pin 9. So this essentially is going to de-initialize that GPIO pin, and is going to reset it to the default mode, and the default mode is a floating input. So whenever you determine to use any of the GPIO pins, before you configure it, it is by default in a mode which is known as input floating. And what that means is that it's basically configured as an input, but the value you get when you read from it is not deterministic. It could be on or off. And that is it about deinitialization. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.